This is the Retirement Mentality channel. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. And if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back. We appreciate that. This is a place where we talk about personal finance, investing, FIRE, reaching financial independence, retirement. It's called the Retirement Mentality because I want to change your mentality about retirement. The old version of your dad when he worked 100 years and got the gold watch at the end of it, that's not what happens anymore. Now it's about multiple streams of income, creating passive income, using rental properties to reach financial independence. So if those things are interesting, or those are topics you like to listen to or learn about, then you are in the right place. And today we're going to talk about the market crash. Every thumbnail you see on YouTube lately is talking about the real estate crash. It's inevitable. Markets are going to crash and real estate's going to go down I just watched a video today in preparation for this of a guy who's predicting that real estate prices are going to go down by 50%. And that's just ludicrous. I think I'm the only person who doesn't think this is going to happen. So I want to put my opinion out there again. I've done 2 already videos about this, and so far my predictions are holding up. My last one was about a month ago. So I just want to update where I'm at now and if my thoughts have changed. So I'm a realtor. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a landlord. I own properties. I own long-term rentals. I own short-term rentals. I've owned commercial real estate. I've owned bare land. I own multifamily properties. And I went broke in 2008. So I've been through a real estate crash. I lost everything, literally went to zero, was homeless. So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. I think anybody who tells you that real estate prices are going down by 50% or that all real estate in the U.S. is going to crash is full of it. It's clickbait. Don't believe them. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. Here we go. Okay, so everybody's predicting the doom and gloom real estate crash. Every thumbnail on YouTube says that the market is crashing. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he was like, Jeff, is the real estate market going to crash? What should I do with my rental property? Oh my gosh, we're thinking about selling our house and moving somewhere else. And he was freaking out. And I was like, bro, didn't you watch my video I did like a month ago on the real estate crash? And he was like, yeah, I watched that. But every thumbnail now says there's a real estate crash. And you said there wasn't going to be a real estate crash. And I'm sticking to that. I'm still believing there's not going to be a real estate crash. All these thumbnails are just clickbait material to get you to go, oh my gosh, the real estate is going to crash. What do I need to know? How do I need to prepare myself? And it's clickbait, and they're just trying to get you on their channel, and they're not looking out for your best interest. So if you want somebody that's going to tell you the truth and not lie to you, hit that subscribe button down there. Click the like button, and if you subscribe, be sure you ring the little bell. Really helps the algorithm push me out there so I can continue spreading truth in this world of lies. In my last video, I tried to emphasize the fact that all real estate is local, and in local markets, things are going to happen differently. There's not the whole U.S. real estate market is just not going to go down. Like I said earlier, I watched a video this morning about a guy who predicted real estate prices to go down by 50% by this time next year. He said this crisis, the housing crisis he kept calling it, was going to last until 2023. And I don't think that's true. There's too much equity in the market now. The banks tightened up their belts after the 2008 crash, which, like I said, I went broke in that one. That's when I owned a mortgage company at the time, and I bought an investment property for a flip house that I did 100% financing on a non-owner occupied house with stated income. I mean, that's ridiculous. So when it couldn't sell, I did 100% financing, but I had put over $100,000 of my own money into it for the remodel. So I lost everything when the real estate market crashed. So there's a lot of differences between now and 2008. There's no more 100% financing anymore. Those days are gone. So most of the people today who may be in a little bit of trouble or may have their income reduced or may be out of work, they have a lot of equity in their house. And so they're going to try to protect that at all costs. They can defer the payments. People need to suck it up and maybe take a job that's beneath where they think they maybe should be so they can get the income coming in and they can still make their mortgage payments. But people are going to do what they have to do to keep the equity in their homes. They're not going to walk away, and we're not going to see the foreclosure crisis like we did in 2008. Another thing is that we don't have the adjustable rate mortgages. A lot of people, back in 06, 07, when the prices were just going up and up and up, you would refinance your house on a 3-year ARM or a 5-year ARM, pull some equity out, and then 6 months later, your house is worth 50 grand more. People would refinance their house again, or a year later, people kept just using their houses like credit cards. They just kept pulling money out to pay off debt or to buy four-wheelers or buy campers, or that's what everybody's doing now. They're buying campers. They're going out in the woods, but they still have their house payment too. People keep asking me, Jeff, is it a good time to buy? Should I sell? What should I do with the market? And I always say, whether this COVID stuff is going on or a housing crisis that everybody's predicting or high unemployment rates, whatever, I always say the best time to buy was yesterday. You've all heard people say, gosh, I wish I would have bought a house here 20 years ago. The prices are so high now. I would say, you know what they're going to say 20 years from now? Gosh, I wish I would have bought a house here 20 years ago. So the best time to buy real estate is always yesterday, and the second best time to buy real estate is now. I don't think we're going to see a big downturn in prices overall. If you're in a place like, if you're a lot of people I think want the crash to happen because they think they're going to scoop up deals, and they think in Lincoln, Nebraska, where they live, or Timbuktu, it doesn't matter, whatever little town every Jack and Jill lives in, they think if there's a housing crisis, 50% sale everywhere on the planet, that they're going to be able to scoop properties up in their neighborhood. So I think secretly a lot of people are rooting for there to be a housing crash, and that's why everybody's clicking on these thumbnails that say real estate crash, prepare now. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get a 50% off house across the street from where you live now, unless maybe you live in Manhattan. I think the big cities are going to see downturns. The bedroom communities around the big cities are going to see upturns in prices. I just tried to pull up a couple of headlines before I did this video to see what I could see. I just put housing statistics and I looked for articles in Google from the last week, and I'll put two of them in here. Okay, so let's take a look at one of these articles. The first one says, the real estate market is booming in South Florida. Here are tips for buyers and sellers looking to jump in. So they have the market's going crazy down there and prices are going up. And then the second article that I pulled up says, inventory shortage, COVID-19 hinders Charlotte's housing market in August. I think they have a typo. Shouldn't it say COVID-19 hinders Charlotte's housing market? COVID-19 yeah, I don't think they said that right. Anyway, so I'll scroll down here into the article. Since I can't say some of these words in here because YouTube will flag me, a depleted inventory of homes for sale coupled with the ongoing 19 problem took a toll on Charlotte's housing market in August. Charlotte area home sales dropped 1.3% year over year as the local housing supply has nosedived once again, according to blah, blah, blah. So the point of this is that they have no inventory. Prices are going up because there's no houses for sale in the market, supply and demand, low inventory, higher prices. So that's pretty much what I predicted in a lot of these places. People are leaving congested areas and going to smaller areas, and that's driving up prices in those areas. With all the bad news out there, there is bad things happening. Don't get me wrong. The economy's bad, unemployment's bad, people are out of work. So there are bad things happening out there. So let's think about how that affects the housing market, because the two don't really necessarily go hand in hand. So one is wages. The wage brackets that are affected the most are the lower wage brackets. The people making over $32 an hour have only seen their income decrease by 2%. But on the other hand, the people who make less than $14 an hour have seen their wages go down by 20%. So it's the lower income people who are being affected more than the upper income people. And the people in the middle, the ones making between $14 and $32 per hour, that group has the highest unemployment rate. Their wages aren't, as affected as much, but their jobs are disappearing. And as far as an age bracket, the people between ages 25 and 39 are the highest of the new unemployed people because of what's going on in the world now too. Okay, so let's take that data and let's think about how that affects housing. So the people that make below $14 an hour are getting their wages hit the most. They're down 20%. They're not homeowners, they're renters. And they're renters of apartments. They're probably not renters of single family houses. The lowest rents you can find are gonna be in bigger apartment buildings or in government type housing or Section 8 housing. So the lower your income is, the more you're gonna be affected, but it's the more likely you're not gonna be in single family housing, you're gonna be in large multifamily complexes. So if you're in government housing, Section 8 housing, large, apartment complexes, those aren't your average Joe investor. Those are big corporations and the government who are going to be taking the brunt of the people who can't pay their rent. So that's not going to affect single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. That's large multi-families that are going to be affected by this. When you think about rent in the single family homes, the rent is typically going to be a little bit higher. These are going to be your A, B, C type properties, not your C, A, B, probably C, D. I don't know. I don't usually use that term a lot, but a lot of investors use A, B, C, D classification for real estate. Your A property types are going to be your large large mansion, over $1 million type houses. Those are typically not going to be rental properties. Those are going to be people who can afford to pay their mortgage if they have one, and they can go 6 to 12 months without, having any income, even if they're going to have money in the bank to cover themselves. So they're going to be fine. So A properties, totally fine. B properties is your regular Joe homeowner for the most part, lives in the house, may or may not be unemployed, probably has some savings, but they can also apply for deferment on their mortgages. So they're going to be able to buy time and hopefully get through this, and we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, and they'll be able to hang on. It still takes, even if you get into the foreclosure process, you got months and months and months to go through before the bank actually takes your house. So they should have still time to catch up. So the B type of category of house is going to be, built after 1990, in good condition, in a good neighborhood, typically owner occupied. And they're the ones that are going to have the most equity in their homes, and they're going to do whatever they can to survive. When you get down into the C and D level of properties, you're looking at older houses built after before 1980, 80 and older, and then D is going to be the same situation but just in worse condition. So those C and D properties are going to be the lower income people, more than likely renters, rental properties. So that's going to be the areas where you're going to see, if there's going to be any effect, it's going to be down there in the lower echelon of properties. Okay, so let me kind of wrap this all up and put a big bow on it for you and see what I've been talking about here. So in my first video, I predicted that the commercial properties are going to take a big hit. I think that's playing out to be true because of everybody going home and doing Zoom meetings now. In my second video, I added that I thought that the big cities were going to see an exodus. This is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. The taxes, the regulations, everything was already, causing strain on the big cities. And now people want to be farther away. So people are leaving the cities to go to the suburbs and to look for places with cheaper taxes. The New Yorks and the Californias are losing people at high numbers. So they're going to get hit, and now I'm going to add in also multifamily, I think, could get hit. I think that most of the investors are big enough in these big multifamily projects that they're going to be fine, but if anybody was going to get hit, it's going to be the multifamilies. I think the single families are going to they're going to struggle, but I think they're going to make it through. I don't think we're going to see big 50% price drops anywhere, not even in Manhattan. I think we're going to see smaller 10 to 20% price drops in the hardest hit areas. That's the COVID hotspots that people are leaving, the cities that people are leaving, and the places where people can't pay their rent in the big multifamily. So that's my prediction. I'm pretty much been consistent throughout. I'm going to stick with that. So if you're looking to scoop up deals, you better be looking in COVID hotspots in big cities in Detroit and New York and California and places where you may not want to be. Maybe you can invest there, that's fine, but nobody wants to live in those places anymore. So finding renters could be challenging. So I don't see this as a big opportunity to score real estate deals and to scoop up 50% off properties. So everybody needs to quit cheering for the housing crash. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you need to unsubscribe from the people telling you there's going to be a big crash and the prices are going to go down 50%. Those guys are just clickbaiting you into watching their videos. They're not looking out for your best interest. So I want to change the environment by telling the truth. I want to get clicks from telling the truth. So click it, subscribe it, hit that like button down there, prove me right and prove them wrong. Help me succeed so that I can keep telling the truth. And hopefully the truth will bring the popularity to my channel. I'm still little, I'm still struggling. So help me out, do it, hit the subscribe button. And when you subscribe, be sure you ring the bell. It just tells you when I got another video that comes out. I don't put out enough content for you to go, oh my God, Jeff's another video, I have to watch it. Hopefully you want to watch them, so ring the bell down there. And that's my take on this situation that we're in now and what I see happening with real estate in the future. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found value in this, and I will see you in the next video.